Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? In this video segment, we're going to discuss what is cryptocurrency. And if you already think you know what cryptocurrency is, I'm going to break it down to you from my perspective, and something I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know. And forget about cryptocurrency, but let alone what currency is and what is it that they're working for every single day of their life. So in this segment, I'm really hoping to grow your knowledge, make you understand a couple of things. Sorry up front for any noise you might hear. This is not getting edited. This is pretty raw. I'm sharing it. It's not scripted or anything like that. This is all coming from the heart. Please, guys, on that note, like and subscribe. Share this with other friends. It helps me grow my channel. It helps me stay enthusiastic when I'm seeing the growth rate so far. I'm really grateful. I'm astonished by all my fans. 200 subscribers so quickly in just a couple of days. It makes me want to give you more and more content. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Hit the bell notification too. Let's get into it. So to understand what cryptocurrency is, before you get into that, you really need to understand what is currency. What is it? How exactly do we interact with it? And what does it stand for? How does finance work? How is it when we deposit money into the bank? What exactly is happening to it? We're going to go through all these steps. So in simple, what is currency? Currency is a means for you to exchange things that you want for, but don't have to carry the stuff with you. It's basically a check, a note. At least that's how it used to be. It's a note for something that we constituted to give value, and we believe this is worth something, and now I'm giving you a promissory note that you can go and receive this thing that we consider all valuable, and I can take what I want from you. If you have a cow, a chicken, or whatever it is. So that value used to be gold a long time ago. It's no longer like that. But it used to be that you would have a note. You deposit your gold in the bank. The bank would keep the gold safe, and they would give you a note. At one point in time, you would literally give a slice of this. Like, you literally would rip some of this receipt, and I think they would give you a corresponding amount of weight to gold to the amount of the size of the paper that you got. I don't know. I heard this before. I haven't done any due diligence, but on that specific issue. But yeah, they definitely would cash you out on the bank. And what happened is the bank once upon a time decided to, hey, listen, we have all this gold sitting in the bank, and nobody's coming to take it out. Let's what can we do with it? Let's invest it. Let's do something else. Let's make money in it, because nobody's coming to withdraw. So I gave you a receipt, a coupon to withdraw gold from the bank. But what are you going to do? Keep the gold in your house? You're obviously not going to do that. You leave it where you believe it's safe. It's in the bank, and you move forward with life. For some reason, the bank decided to give out all the money, all the gold that they had, or invest it into other projects, and they had nothing reserved, or not enough reserved, to give out to people, because they assumed nobody would be coming back for it. And then one Joe Schmo walked into the bank and says, hey, I would like to get some gold out. They all started sweating and saying to him, we don't have your gold, sir. But if you wait a day or two, we'll get it back in the bank and we'll give it to you. The guy goes, what do you mean you don't have my gold? I gave you my gold. You're supposed to keep it here. They know that they just gave it away to trade, And whatever, he came home. He told his wife. He started going crazy. And his wife ended up telling him, I knew it. You shouldn't have trusted that stupid bank. I knew they're going to do something. Why would they keep your gold for you? Why wouldn't you keep it at home? One thing led to another. She told her friend. He told his friend. The whole country went up in arms. This happened in America, believe it or not. This is called the Great Depression. It sounded like a funny story, but it was really sad. People were running to the banks, and trying to get their gold out as fast as possible. And the banks didn't know what to do, and banks ended up shutting down. A lot of banks started shutting down. And that's where they came up with the Federal Reserve, where the Federal Reserve, and not only that, they also instituted bank holidays where they closed down. Who closes down a bank while holding your treasury? I need access to it 24/7. Banks were never closed back in the day until after the Great Depression, or during the Great Depression. They started taking days off to close down with your funds. The Federal Reserve came into this picture by basically, instead of banks just taking money from just one, each bank was independent, so they could have just taken your money and done whatever. But now, instead of them just taking your bank in your city, they just decide to link together all the money they're taking from everybody. And this way, if there's not enough money in one branch, they'll take it out of a different branch, and on and on and on. This was the Federal Reserve. It was basically the hub of the biggest Ponzi scheme created in the world, called the dollar bill. But we'll get into that in a second. Anywho, the Federal Reserve controlled, and they made checks and balances and all these kind of fancy terms and terminologies that I'm not educated enough to explain to you, but I do get the concept of what money is, and what I'm working for, and how does one make money, literally make it. The Federal Reserve decided, we took the gold, we'll give you the receipts, and if anything happens, we'll protect you. We'll take gold out of elsewhere. And eventually, they went with a completely different system. There's a book written on it. I don't remember the term for it. It's a type of theory where it's where the currency doesn't actually have to stand for something that has value, but just trust in the government. And this is literally what the dollar bill has become. It's not worth any more gold or anything like that. It's just worth the trust you have in your government. And I love America. America is the greatest place in the world. I love this place. I'm an immigrant. I'm a citizen now, thank God. And I love this country. There's so much potential. But I love this land because of the people here. The government here is starting to really disappoint us. And we gotta wake up. And cryptocurrency is one of the ways to do that. We'll get into that in a second too. Going back now into this theory, I'm gonna try to post up the name of it, and you guys can look it up into it. Basically, if you trust your government, I give you a currency. As long as the government stands, we're here to answer this. We're here to answer for it. And the way that they generate the value for the currency is when they give it out to you, they tax you. So by taxing you, they take a certain amount of the money out of circulation, and it gives value to the money. Now, why that's important is if you understand what happens with the banks when you deposit money. If you would go to the bank and, for hypothetically speaking, give them $100, and they would take it, they would put on reserve, and this is what the Federal Reserve actually instituted. They would put on reserve $10, 10%. Of the amount that you deposit in case you came to withdraw. They assumed you were not going to take more than 10%. They take 10% from you, and they would take the 90% and lend it out. But before they do that, what if you came into the bank, right, and came to withdraw your full $100? Now, since there's a lot of people in the mix, it doesn't matter. They have 10% from everybody. They can pay you, no problem. But hypothetically speaking, think about it. When it started, there wasn't that many people, and what if somebody came in again? We don't want another Great Depression. So what they instituted is this: as soon as you take the deposit, the bank would contact the Federal Reserve and say, "Hey, Joe Schmo just made a deposit with us for $100." The Federal Reserve says, "No problem. We're going to give you a promissory note of $100." What that means is that your $100 just printed another $100. Now, if you were the only person in the world, doing this, what that means, if you gave them $100 and they just printed another $100, your $100 is worth $50 because now there's two. Now they only keep it on reserve in case something happens and they need to give it to you immediately. They're gonna bail them out. They're gonna give them this money, which has happened a lot. And but the fortunate part is the taxing situation. Because they tax it, they can take some of the money out of circulation, and the value of the dollar isn't going down that drastically. But here's a scarier part to the system: the 90% of the money that they lent out. What do you think that guy does with it? Guess. He goes to the bank, he deposits in his business corporation, and they also now print money against that. So your $100 could end up printing $1 million at this rate, you know? And I don't even understand fully how they can control the inflation with everybody completely always evading taxes. You know, I mean, don't take this as financial advice. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't do anything without doing your own due diligence. Don't trust anybody on YouTube just making videos and telling you buy this or sell that or be like me or whatever. Do your own due diligence. We have a bunch of videos on cryptocurrencies, and I've made some awesome calls. But today's market, if you throw a dart into anything, almost it goes up. So it doesn't take a genius to do this. I'm just sharing everything from my heart, and I hope you guys come to wake up and understand what's happening. Going back on topic to the dollar bill. Now that you understand what's happening and how they're able to keep the money in the bank stable and guaranteed up to a certain amount, is this system that they created. But your dollar bill is not protecting anything, once again, and it's just the fate you have in the country. If something is to happen with that country, if for some reason they decide to just dump the currency, what then? You don't think that happened? I can tell you from the country that I'm from, that happened. They just completely stole the people's original currency, traded it in the market, and launched something that is not even on the forex. You can't get it. It's called SUM, S-U-M. You can't find it. If you think you found it, believe me, it's not it. It's nowhere. It's not accepted at the airport. When you fly out of the country, you can't even use it to buy the ticket to fly out because it's worth nothing. It's monopoly money. And they used to have the ruble. That was the original currency there, and they took it away, and they gave people ruble receipts, and then they said, hey, if you don't come to the bank and deposit your ruble receipts to get this new currency that we came up yesterday with, you can't, you know, all your rubles will be gone and you're gonna be broke. And in the meantime, people were scared. They had no other choice because nobody else would take the ruble currency. It was illegal in that country. This is after the USSR collapsed. I'm from Uzbekistan, so some of you don't know. But when the country collapsed, they wanted to initiate their own. When the USSR collapsed, they wanted to initiate their own currency, their own independence, and so the way to do that is also get people's hard-earned money to start. And they ended up taking people's rubles, which was worth something in the market, not a lot then, but something, and gave something that till this day is worth nothing. It's been since what, 1992 this happened? 1991, 92, between those 2 years. So what? It's been like 30 years, 32 years, 31, I don't know, do the math, but it's been a long time and it's still worth nothing. It's not tradable, it's garbage. Unfortunately, this happens in a lot of places. Venezuela just completely destroyed their currency. It's gone. A lot of countries are doing this. I wouldn't feel very safe. And think about it, there's a benefit too. America owns so much money to China and so much other places. What would happen if they just created a new currency and say, you know what? Our currency now is worth more than that currency because we're protecting it more than that one, and we got more people into it, or we launched secretly, nobody even knows. We might have been the ones to launch Bitcoin, and that's our escape. I'm not saying, you know, Bitcoin was launched by America, but if you would think who would most benefit off of this, and this is why I think it's still not illegal, it's America. This is a really interesting way out of a very, very bad financial situation that they've created in the world. I don't even understand why they arrest people for Ponzi schemes, where this was the biggest Ponzi scheme ever created. Now going back to cryptocurrency and how this is a solution for everybody, literally. So instead of us having different currencies all across the world, there can be a stable currency. That idea was initially thought up to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a currency that people can use and interact and send worldwide with some privacy. You don't have to disclose all your information, where you are, who you are, what you're from, nothing. And you also can't get ripped off. Nobody can get a refund. You paid for something, that's it. You're not gonna go and do a credit card dispute or whatever kind of dispute. Our transaction is final. If you didn't inspect it enough before you bought it, that's your fault. That I know people like to be protected with, you know, getting refunds, but when you're a business of any kind, the amount of fraud you go through is insane. You literally end up adding that up into your budget. Like, this is how much money people are gonna fake return and steal and dispute. This got to be part of the what we call the heshbon, because if you don't have it as a part of your accounting, your business is doomed to fail. So if we now have this currency, or that we all trust, meaning we can interact, nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. This is an acronym, it maybe, or it stands for God knows what. Nothing. I really thought it was from the show The Heroes, you know, Nakamoto over there, but it wasn't. I really thought it was him. Yeah, there's a lot of people claiming they know who he is. There's people claiming that they are the Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who he is, and that's one of the only best benefits of Bitcoin that I know, is that you can't manipulate the person. You can't put a gun to his head and make him do something that, you know, would corrupt our system. Yeah, it's all on the blockchain. Yeah, no one person can really control it, but you know, just my assumption, by the way, that the person who I assume he's either dead or he's a corporation like America, but or a different government agency. But in either ways, I assume if it's a person, that person is either dead or mentally challenged now, and the reason for that is because there's one wallet that holds, you know, everything's in the blockchain. The blockchain is like a ledger that records every single transaction that is done, be it cryptocurrency, NFT, contracts, or whatever you want to call it. It's recorded somewhere. It could always be pulled up. And there's a wallet that we don't know who that's the whole identity is protected by the wallet. We don't know who it is, but it's the largest holder of Bitcoin, and it holds the most Bitcoin. You can look up, I'll try to post a link, what exactly is the Etherscan of that, and what's the quantity. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's a lot, like really a lot. It's the biggest wallet. And he, for some reason, throughout all the highs of the price, has never sold one point of Bitcoin. Like, never. It never moved to any other place. It just stayed in its location. I'm assuming that's the owner, and he's either dead or missing, or he lost the login. Definitely not missing. He's missing the login, if anything. And if he lost that login information to his wallet, because it was a complex time back then, it wasn't that simple as it is today, then, you know, he probably lost his mind by now, and he's like running around in some mental institution screaming, "I'm Satoshi Nakamoto, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto." But yeah, and everybody next to him said, "Yeah, so am I." But there's actually a coin. It's called, what is it? Not BCH. That's a different Bitcoin Cash. What is it called? Bitcoin Gold, I think. The guy who made Bitcoin Gold. This guy claims he's Satoshi Nakamoto, the original creator of Bitcoin, and he actually took this stuff to court. And, you know, he just requested simply, just if that's the case, you know, make a transaction or move from a wallet supporting that claim. There's one large amount, and he was trying to somehow get access to it. It was complete shenanigans. It was all a gimmick just to get himself some attention and launch his token, and it worked. He did get delisted from Binance, which I give him a lot of respect for that. I really like that network. I don't use it anymore because they don't let American users unless you do Binance USA. And yeah, that's something I probably got to start. But as of now, I'm just using Coinbase, and I'm starting to use now Crypto.com, which I think is a lot cooler. You guys got to check it out. They pay you great. It's easy to work with. They give you a debit card that gives you free Netflix and awesome promotion. There'll be a link in the description. Anyways, in this 20-minute video, I think I pretty much wrapped up the idea of the currency idea, and now I just gave you an idea of how we can benefit as using a currency that nobody controls, and we can benefit as a society to make trade everywhere, be it you're in Russia, in Africa, in North America, in any part of the world, that we could interact and make transactions. And I was saying, yeah, but wouldn't the governments make this illegal? It's you can make it illegal all you want. Look, it's illegal in China, right? And that's a strict communist, crazy government. But look at that. they can still interact. There's still transactions coming out of there. There's still trading. There's a lot still to be done, and the reason is, once it's on the internet, it's like it's a internet. The blockchain is like the internet in essence. It's not on the internet. It's on its own thing, and that thing is kept offline. It's kept offline, online. There's satellites currently out in space that are supporting the network. There's a lot of stuff on this. Don't sleep on it, and don't be scared of your government screaming at you, telling you they're going to make it illegal. There are many ways around it. In China, I think Facebook and a lot of other stuff is illegal, but there's plenty of users you can YouTube right now that will show that they are using it. Then they do have YouTube channels, and they have access to all these things because there's VPNs, virtual private networks. There's a bunch of other cool stuff that people can do. I don't think the blockchain, the cryptocurrency, is going anywhere. Now, regarding the other tokens that are coming out, Bitcoin is awesome because it's the first of its kind. Ethereum is a first of its kind because it was a copy of Bitcoin, but with an additional feature of a contract. Basically, if A happens, then B happens, and if B happens, C happens. That is what it meant by contract. It's a digital execution. You can use that as a way of sending payment, almost like an escrow account can be set up like this. It's an amazing thing. And this was really cool till recently that Bitcoin had a major update, and now their software supports contract, and that makes Ethereum not as cool anymore, in my opinion. Besides there's crazy gas fees, the only reason why the value is still going to keep going is because of the mining, and the value is going to sustain itself. But since when the update happens, the mining will supposedly end, and people are not going to be as interested. I think they'll go into staking maybe and into other stuff, but if you can't mine it, people put so much money up in producing the equipment and stuff, then I definitely think it's going to lose its value. Bitcoin you can always mine, well, not always. There's a minimum amount, so it's going to run out, and that's going to be the end of that. But there's that first to play, and there's the end of the amount, and it's a historical thing. Who wouldn't want to own some Bitcoin? There's basketball cards, stamps, so much crap in the world that I'm not to be disrespectful to, but these are just things, little tiny things, and like gigapets, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, okay, you have nostalgia from it, but there's people paying millions of dollars for just one card. Charizard from Pokemon, like whatever, is worth, I don't know, like what, $100,000 pair each one, if not more. It's insane. So there's value to that. And imagine now that you have something that literally blasted off the whole ecosystem for all cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. How would you not want to have that little thing as a ticket? Something that you own from the beginning it started. I think that has a value in its own right. That is why people speculate and make crazy predictions. It can be worth $1 million, $10 million, $100 million. It will be worth maybe those numbers. I think historically it will eventually, but it won't be because of transactions, because transactions are not realistic with Bitcoin, as they are not realistic to be transacted with even gold. You're not going to take gold and start doing transactions, though you should know, if you're buying something from me, I'll definitely take gold, silver, or anything that's valuable, including crypto. Because I know there's a market for it, and I can always change it into something. And my idea is hey, if I had to depreciate just a little bit of what I have just to get a quick liquidity, how much, as they call it in crypto world, how much slippage would I have to have? And it's not a major amount. People pay a lot more money to become liquid than what they're offering. Anywho, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. It's getting very long. Maybe I can add a little bit of more information. Yeah, I want to add this one point regarding the other cryptocurrencies. So there is something really new in the system. It's called DeFi, DAO. basically projects where, you know, cryptocurrency is valued by the dollar. So there's somebody out there who created an idea. The OHM Olympus was one of the first networks that did this. I don't know anybody else who did it. If somebody else knows, let me know. But they were the first to do it. Basically, what they did is they launched. They launched a governance system where instead of making their token worth $1, they created their own dollar called MIM, Magical Internet Money. That's the abbreviation. And what happens over there is that you can buy Olympus or Time Wonderland, and there's so many snowbank. There's so many, and there's so many of them actually. But the ones that I trust is I just mentioned, and I wouldn't go outside of that. You know, more than that. I actually went outside of it a little bit. I took Fort token that also came out pretty new. Give me 1 second. I gotta rebuke these kids flashing lights at me. 1 second. Yeah, didn't want to record that. Actually, should have. It was I paused the video, but yeah, I gave him a nice explanation why it's dangerous to play lasers when somebody's driving. Anywho, yeah, that's pretty much everything I can share with you in this segment. There's the sorry, I got distracted. DAO. So this project, what happens over here is that they print this magic internet money, and it's valued $1 to $1. But it doesn't have that value because they're holding a reserve of dollars. They're holding a reserve of other cryptocurrencies. Specifically, I know there's a Wonderland and a Wonderland that they're holding a certain amount of it, and if they will burn the Wonderland token to raise the price of MIM, which is the magic internet money, to keep it a stable price. I think that's one of the most beautiful and genius inventions in the crypto space, because the whole project kind of got lost. The whole cryptocurrency got lost because they're getting pegged for dollars and people are trying to make more dollars. That is not the idea of what it was out there for. Not in my opinion, and not in the opinion of a lot of people. So I really like this. It's something one of a kind right now, new of its kind, at least Olympus is, and now there's so many other forks coming out of it, like, you know, Bitcoin came out, and then everything else came out, Ripple and all your famous stuff. So they're doing the same thing to this Olympus. They're all valuable, and everybody's talking crap. Oh, this one's worth nothing. This one is just a fork. It's just a fork. Remember, Bitcoin was a fork. You know, Bitcoin was the original. Everything else was really a fork of it, and then now it's a fork of Ethereum, and on the pyramid goes. They all have a value, and I think Olympus brings something new to the table that's going to bring a new type of value, a real type of value to cryptocurrency, independent of your US dollar, or actually any currency if that matter. Not right away, but very quickly. With the more adoption of cryptocurrency, more people transacting with it, they're going to have enough of it to eventually create a value system where they can trade through this DeFi system, and be your own governance. You can literally launch one of these things yourself, and it's not that complicated, and it's pretty cool. And there's a governance. It's all just a copy of Olympus. Look through the documents. I'll make some posts there. If you guys subscribed already, if you follow, you will see I made some videos on these stuff. There's a lot cooler people also. Look them up on YouTube. I'll try to give a shout out to a couple of people that I did follow as well, that I learned this from. Ezra actually is one that put me on this, and me and him are gonna have, I hope, very soon, this week, Thursday, on Thanksgiving, we're gonna spend some time talking. And we're gonna do a live interview with him, because he introduced me to this stuff, and he has some crazy stuff to share with you guys. I can't wait till you guys explore this. Anyways, I really keep saying I'm gonna stop this. We're way above our above the time I wanted to speak. This was supposed to be a 5-minute video, turned to 29 videos. Kudos if you stayed this long. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Check out the description. I'll have all the related topics over there written out, what you guys can subscribe to, what videos you might want to be also willing to watch. Have a good one. Thank you again.